Before we get into concepts like energy, frequency, manifestation, I want to ask you about the concept of telepathy. I had Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell on my
Mhm.
podcast. I was exposed to her from the Telepathy tapes, which was an amazing series. I want to get a sense of how you're currently thinking about telepathy. Is this something that's continuing to be studied and evaluated? And what are you understanding about it? And how can you, if you could predict the future and how something like this is going to serve humanity, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. And Dr. Hennessy Powell's work is so interesting with telepathy in nonverbal autistic children. Super, super interesting. And the fact that they've created this amazing podcast around it is fascinating. And I'm actually making a film right now on the subject of telepathy called An Open Mind. We're in the process. We have 70 interviews shot. We are, hopefully we'll be finishing it up soon. It's a concept I'm super interested in for precisely the reasons that we've been talking about, because it is one of those super senses that we have as human beings. And certain people are more telepathic than others. And I would actually say another synonym for telepathy is intuition, right? We all are intuitive in different ways. There's many different ways that we could receive intuitive information. Some people, say that there is the four clairs of intuition, clairaudience. Some people receive intuition by hearing a voice. These are the voice hearers and the psychics we talked about. Some people are clairsentient. They will receive intuitive knowing through their body. They're going to feel it in their body if something's good or bad, right or wrong, or they'll feel it emotionally. Clairsentience. Claircognizance. Some people will receive intuitive knowing just by knowing. They don't know why they know, but they just know. And then there's clairvoyance, which is when you see something in your mind's eye. So you receive your intuitive knowing as a vision. It all makes sense, right? All very like it's intuitively understandable about intuition. And so you take those intuitive capacities and you realize everybody has them to different degrees. To what degree do you have them, and what's your dominant intuitive capacity? Right? That's the first question. And then you realize that some people come into this world incredibly gifted with that. And sometimes their intuitive capacities are to a point where, they can be a psychic or medium. They can read my mind. They are able to get visions. Or this woman who was able to tell you things about your life. How is she getting her intuitive information? Right? So you go from being very intuitive to being maybe telepathic to being psychic, etc. These are all on a continuum. And so it also makes sense, with the telepathy tapes that Dr. Hennessy Powell was involved in, that there are certain subsets of people who, because of other capacities maybe being thwarted, like they're nonverbal, that certain capacities are then expanded. So nonverbal autistic children could be particularly telepathic with certain adults. So I'm super interested in this. And, even Sigmund Freud, way back in the day, his synonym for telepathy was thought transference. And so this is also a question. What are you picking up in telepathy? Are you picking up emotion? Are you picking up thought? So for Sigmund Freud, it was thought transference. And he was not someone who was into psi phenomena. He and Carl Jung actually had quite a rupture in their understanding of psi, abilities and of the mystical. But even Sigmund Freud said, because of all of his experiences with patients, that there is a kernel of truth in the idea of thought transference.
Fascinating. Do you believe that we are creators, creator beings, and that we have an influence on physical reality?
I believe, yes, I believe that we could and we do, and certain people to certain degrees. And if this is something that, people are interested in, they can develop those capacities. And so, how can those capacities manifest? So, for instance, I believe that the mind and body are very, very deeply connected. And through people's minds, they can change their bodies. So, this is one of the ways that we are creators. We could, through positive, healthy habits, and this has been shown time and again, through positive emotional relationships, we could reduce our risk of cancer. We can enhance our longevity. We can be healthier. We can enhance our fertility, right? So, this is one of the ways in which the mind can affect the body. Now, there's another thing. What about, can I affect your body with my mind? There are incredible healers, energy healers, who've shown time and again that they're able to do this. This is often a gift that people are born with, and they discover that gift and then they're able to give that to humanity. Can all of us develop that gift? To certain degrees, perhaps, if we, but just like with everything, everyone comes into the world with certain talents. And I might want to develop all my telepathic and energy healing capacities. But if I give 110% and devote my life, I still may not be as good as someone with this inborn talent. And very interestingly, these talents are often genetic. So you find people who are very telepathic and who are energy healers, and there will be people in their family who have passed down this gene. Their grandfather was a rabbi, or their grandmother was a healer who everyone in the village would come to, or her, sister had premonitions. These are genetic capacities. They have a biological basis. It's super, super interesting.